Hello everyone. I'm going to make this short and sweet because all I'm really trying to do is put a timestamp on this prediction that is clearly going to occur based on everything that I know of what's really going on around us and through us and above us, etc. In July 2022, the James Webb Telescope is scheduled to quote-unquote discover something that wasn't there before. Out in the heavens, most likely in the TRAPPIST-1 system, that will throw everything on its head. Now, this quote-unquote discovery is scheduled to occur. In other words, we already know what's there, or when I say we, I mean very small chunks of humanity already know what's there. So this gives you an idea of how we are now operating on a schedule in terms of what is going to be slowly revealed to the vast majority of humanity over time. This is to give everybody an idea of how you can find the truth on your own. You do not have to wait for someone else to tell you what is real or true. You can use the scientific method and do research on your own, piece things together, and all the things that don't match or don't fit when they stand up to scrutiny can be discarded, and those things that don't work out or are proven to not be true can be used as a tool to invalidate a huge amount of the junk that's out there, so that whatever remains is still potentially true. And the more things line up with each other in a coherent way, you can start doing model building just like we would with science and engineering and any other discipline. I've been doing this now for a few years and have discovered some really mind-blowing stuff, but it is so far out there that it feels, one, like total science fiction and just completely made up nonsense where you've lost your mind. And there have been definitely times when I feel like I've lost my mind when I discovered these things and start to assimilate them as potential truths. Some of them I have managed to disentangle and falsify, which is what a scientist should do when they're searching for the truth. I managed to unpack a lot of what's going on. I managed to find material and presentations from various sources that, if I were to explain what they were, would definitely give you more confidence in what I have uncovered. I do not want to sit here on April 2022 and explain everything that I strongly suspect has already happened to affect where we're going in the future, as well as what I have a very strong confidence will in fact occur. And we're talking about a time frame of things happening this year in 2022 all the way up to the year 2060. And basically that we are on this timeline of things unfolding that cannot, there's no reasonable reason to suspect that these outcomes will not occur. Now, you can go into the details of this didn't happen on exactly this month or this year. I can't do that. I can't make those kinds of predictions. I don't think anybody can, not even the most advanced beings in this universe. That's kind of part of why we're here, because the future isn't written yet, and we're here to experience it and, have some fun in the process and maybe learn and grow along the way. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Basically, all I wanted to do here was put down a firm stake in the ground saying the James Webb Telescope will discover something earth-shattering in July 2022. The only reason I could possibly predict this with accuracy is if this is on a schedule and not an actual accidental discovery of, oh, we have actually found something for the first time, but it was known that they would do this to try to shake up our consciousness a bit and to try to get us starting down the road of accepting that the narrative of, the kind of life we thought things were in the 20th century and what the universe was and our place in it and all that is basically a lie, is what it is. It's a fabrication. It is not a complete and total utter lie, but it is more like a box that we were placed into to keep us nice and contained, where we didn't stray too far from the behavior we were supposed to exhibit as humanity. And that box was nice and comfortable for us, and we've all been in it for so long. It's going to take a bit of baby steps at the beginning to try to force us out of it. Now in 2017, that was started with the US government acknowledging that UFOs are real, which would have just not have been a possible move in the 20th century for them to come out and do that. Now this is partially because other governments were already saying UFOs were real many years before that, so their hand was somewhat forced. But other things are happening too that made it far simpler for those sorts of things to be released. Now, the truth could just come out right now, as it is, but we are so used to the way things used to be, I think there would be a lot of outright rejection, and I think it would really disrupt people's state of mind. So instead of rocking the boat really, really heavily and risk sinking the ship and causing societal collapse, things are going to come out in a slowly metered pace. And the schedule has already been set and written and determined, apparently. So if you are in the process of waking up on your own, there are many reasons why that might be the case, but if you are on that road already, then much of the things that I am withholding and not really saying right now, you probably suspect them to be true already, or at least a handful of them. Now the level of your awakenness is directly related to how much you suspect is already going on right now, and how shocked you will actually be as the world continues to change with various events that are planned to occur, as well as revelations that are scheduled to come out. If these things don't really shock you very much, then that's a good sign that you're pretty far along the path, at least as far as humans go, towards waking up and going through this process of us transitioning to a new future, a new future that's worth looking forward to. I think, even though I don't really want to go into the big depths of everything, I have analyzed many different aspects of reality, politics, history, ancient history, the nature of UFOs, the nature of spirituality and consciousness, the universe as a whole, the beginning of the universe, the end of the universe. All these things are completely tied together in one big Gordian knot, it seems. I guess it's not a Gordian knot because it is untangleable. But what I'm trying to say is, after researching this for about 2 years, well, a little more than 2 years, I can say with confidence, we don't need to be scared. There's no reason to be scared anymore. In the past, actually, being scared was a really bad thing. Right now, you don't need to be scared of being scared. I know that sounds strange. So you can accept the fear if it comes up, but I think if you want to take stock in what I know and what I will have to say in the future, the number one thing I want you to come away with is to know that you do not need to be afraid of the future or anything at this point. Just everything will be okay. I know that's really hard to believe, considering how it's 2022 when I'm saying this. We've got, geopolitical events going on. Things are about to occur in the financial world very soon. And then we, on top of it, have these revelations in July. It's just going to be very unsettling to everybody. How can I possibly say that we shouldn't be afraid, or that everything's going to be okay? Well, if you take a step back and you see the big picture, you realize that all these things are unfolding because the world is becoming a better place. Not accidentally either. This is no accident. There are basically no accidents when you look back on it all. There is a very, very, very big plan in place that is just earth-shattering in terms of its scope. But we have been trained through our 20th century lives that we are ordinary, There's nothing special going on here. We're just one little speck out in a universe of countless specks. So we are insignificant and we don't matter at all, and nothing is going on here. Just move along with your life and do your day-to-day stuff without ever stopping to think maybe something else is going on here. Well, you don't need to be afraid, because something really special is in fact going on here, and I think more and more of us can sense that that's happening. Something tremendous has taken place and will continue to take place, and that we are all an enormous part of it, even if we don't fully consciously realize it at this point. And yeah, I guess I really want to say more, but I don't really want this video to be labeled as completely out there. So, as a scientist, even though my confidence in these different pieces of knowledge has dramatically increased over the last 2 years, I cannot say that I am 100% certain. I need to continue to have a bit of humility about it and not just speak as if I am, talking from a pulpit to everybody else about what the truth is. I suspect I know what the truth is, and I have a high degree of confidence, which is why I'm making this video. But to prove my high level of confidence, I am throwing a stake in the ground, saying that July 2022 has to take place first. And it specifically involves the James Webb Telescope and what it will see around a habitable star. I think you can sort of read between the lines in what it would be seeing, because the James Webb Telescope is specifically built for a specific band of infrared, and is extraordinarily sensitive to light, and would be really well suited to seeing the light around planets that are around a red dwarf star. That would just be total ideal conditions. And yeah, so if we were to say, for example, point the James Webb Telescope at TRAPPIST-1, happen to see lights on a planet that's going around the star, and the spectrum of these lights and the sequence of these lights and everything makes it clear that we are not looking at a natural phenomenon, I think that's enough for you to understand how, if this comes to pass, this corroborates an enormous amount of information that I have. Now, I have thought I was correct in the past, and pieces of it I have been able to invalidate. So if this piece of information does not come out correctly, then a huge amount of what I have managed to uncover, not all of it, but a huge amount, would be quite suspect. And then it would lead me to wonder where we really truly are in the scheme of things. If that does come to pass, that bolsters my confidence on the rest, and maybe I'll pass another video on where I say more about what is happening at that point. For example, with quantum computing and blockchain technology, wink wink, nudge nudge. Yeah, I think that's good enough. I'm not exactly I'm not editing this audio, so basically the very first minute or two really has what you need. And if you've been listening to me drone on to all this point, then I apologize tremendously, because this has been a stream of consciousness that was not rehearsed. I'm just going to throw it out there, and I'm going to put in the video that you really should only be watching the very beginning, because the rest of it is just drivel. So we'll see. Thanks for listening, and catch you on the flip side in the future, past July 2022.